late today. I'll be honest with you. Took a nap. I was up really quite early this morning. Then I was out running around, doing stuff. Got a haircut, not today, but actually last Saturday. So, if you are in the chat room, please say hi. Like I said, I am running so late. So I'm just getting all my MacGuffins together. Hope you're well. Hope everybody's having a good Tuesday. Really, just it's interesting. One of the things I've noticed since the health concerns is that the old ticker, while the old ticker's working, my sleep pattern's just been messed up. I got to sleep at like 2 a.m. this morning, and then I was awake at 6 and wide awake, not like, oh, I'm drowsy and I want to go to sleep, but I can't. And there's a cat. Hold on. Find that. Go away. Go on. And the cat's just being annoying. So, yes, bear with me. I'm still setting up. As I was saying, getting old fucking sucks. You know what I'm saying? Sleep patterns all over the place. Was up an ungodly hour this morning, wide awake. So got up, went for my morning walk, and then about, 11:30, just hit me like a wall. Whoa! So, yes, but I'm live now. Oh, what passes for it? How you doing? This is actually going to be the last Tuesday live stream. As I talked about last Friday briefly, I'm going to make the switch to doing more pre-recorded stuff because can't really trust the internet connection, even though it's supposed to be working. Who knows what will happen during a live stream. So I'm going to do one live stream a week, which will be the Friday one, which takes me away from conflicts with soccer games and with other shows from streamers I know and love. So I'm going to move to start doing the 5-minute segments that will pop up, and it's easier for me to perhaps get those out, edit them, drop a little gameplay in, make them more attractive to everybody. Everybody can watch as and when they want. So what are we going to talk about today? Honestly, don't have a fucking clue. There's a couple of rumors doing the rounds that I think are interesting. First one is Grand Theft Auto 6. Now, it's been a couple of years since we had Red Dead 2, and it's been a very long time since we had Grand Theft Auto 5, which is still one of the best games I've ever played, one of my favorite games. Grand Theft Auto Online is obviously making more money than God. And so Rockstar are like, you know what? We don't need to do anything if we don't want to. And I'm sure they are beavering away on GTA 6. Interesting that there was a interview with the head of Take-Two earlier this year who had said that last year was the most successful year money-wise for the GTA 5. They sold more copies last year of the game than they'd ever done before, which just goes to show that the game is, like I said, ongoing classic. And it just goes to show that nobody's really topped what Rockstar can execute on a, twice a decade basis. Sub-level 28 in the house. Hi. So nice to see you. I was wondering, you've been quiet recently. I was wondering if everything was okay. I'm doing fine. So let's talk about GTA 6. Now, there's been a bunch of swirly rumors. And look, let's face it, rumors and conjecture are all we have right now for so many things, because guess what? It's the fucking slow times. April, traditionally the slow time. I know we've got the big Capcom Resident Evil reveal on Thursday, and I'll be watching that. I'm just going to talk about that. And if you've got anything else you guys want to talk about, drop in, let me know. So the big rumor from somebody who's apparently shared stuff shared stuff that's been quite accurate on Call of Duty and Battlefield, is that Grand Theft Auto will be set in modern times. GTA 6 will be set in modern times. Because the big rumor is that they were returning to the 80s, a la Vice City. And how do I feel about that? I don't know. I like the idea of it going back to the 80s. I loved Vice City. I mean, Vice City was the one. I mean, I played all the GTAs, but Vice City was. I mean, it lifted so much inspiration from Scarface. And, I obviously worked at Vivendi when we did Scarface, The World Is Yours. I didn't work on the game, even though I do get a credit in the game for one suggestion. And I've probably told this story before, but I'll tell it again because I got not much to talk about today. I was talking with Pete Wannett, who's the exec producer of Scarface, The World Is Yours. Absolutely top bloke, amazing producer, knows his games inside out. And they were having a problem because they had all this content from Universal Music, because Vivendi was part of the Universal group at the time. And they couldn't figure out how to put everybody in the credits, the music credits. And I suggested it. Now, if you've played Scarface, The World Is Yours, which, I think it sold quite well, but let's face it, it came out on OG Xbox. Didn't come out on 360. You will probably never see an up-res version or a version available digitally on the Xbox store or anything like that, simply because I think licensing issues. I think the license has probably lapsed. I mean, we are talking about a game that was released 13, 14 years ago. But yeah, he was talking about, all right, I've got all these songs, Debbie Harry, Sugar Hill Grandmaster, Flash and the Furious 5, a bunch of really great, the soundtrack basically to the Scarface movie. It's like they have to get credits in, and they don't want to do it at the very end. And there's this like a prologue sequence you play where Tony Montana, survives that big explosion at the end, the big gunfight at the end of the Scarface movie. Where he, in the movie he dies, in the game he didn't die, because that's what happens. And then he basically has to get out of his mansion, kill a bunch of bad guys, and then the prologue ends. And I suggested, because basically it then follows a cutscene of Tony getting in the car and driving back into Miami, getting away from the house. Why don't you just have the music, the names of the bands scroll across the bottom? Credit-wise that way, and they put it in, and I got a credit in the game for it. It's funny. Scarface was such an ambitious game. When Pete took over, it was in a rough state. It really was. It lacked direction, and they put it. They basically put it in a hibernation, reworked it, retooled it. I'd like to see that game come back. That and Hulk Ultimate Destruction are the two games, I think, from the era of Vivendi, mid-2000s, that I would love to see new versions for. But anyway, so yes, I digress. So that was my random Scarface GTA Vice City story. But going on to then GTA Vice City, which had come out a couple of years before, and that was obviously just the pinnacle. I mean, GTA 3, where it had gone, switched from top down to the graphics, and it was fantastic. But Vice City was so cool, especially with people of a certain age, i.e. old fuckers like myself, because it did capture that whole 80s moment, Florida, neon, the music. I mean, I cannot think of I Ran to You by Flock of Seagulls without thinking of GTA Vice City. And that's an incredible, I mean, there's not many games that actually can use a piece of licensed music like that and be so plugged into my head, especially when that particular Flock of Seagulls song came out in the 80s when I was a teenager, and I'd heard it so many times and it was iconic. But then it really just moved into a special place in my head. And so, yeah, Vice City is probably one of my favorite. I mean, GTA 5 is probably my absolute favorite, but Vice City was definitely one. It's right behind GTA 5, I think, with regards to how much fun it was, how much fun it had with the time, the fashions, the cars, the just every aspect of it. And I think Rockstar have this capability of touching or tapping into in whatever Grand Theft Auto iteration they put out, whatever they select time wise always works, because they do their due diligence, they do their research, they pack it up with all the right pop culture references. They just know what's what. I mean, you look at GTA 4, you look at San Andreas. They also have their own little niches. I know a lot of people who really love San Andreas in particular, but for me, given the music and everything, it really just made Vice City an excellent game. And I don't know, I think it would be quite cool if they went back to that and did that 80s aspect again. But, they never really, do what you expect them to do. I mean, look, the other thing that was always really fun to me was Grand Theft Auto, when it was top down on the PS1. They did a London 1969 expansion pack. And that was really sort of like, that was very Austin Powers-y, it was very swinging 60s London, baby, yeah, groovy. That was hysterical, just for the things that you could do. I mean, it was the top down, it was very limited gameplay style, didn't have half as many of the features as the later iterations did. But because it was so out of left field, it was so accessible, so fun. If it felt, it was a joy to play. Now, if they didn't go with the 80s, London 1969 would also be a great one to remake and drop into that 3D engine. For me, because again, that whole aspect, that whole time, the James Bond stuff, we talked about this last week, I think, with Evil Genius 2, that whole sort of like 60s kitsch was so much fun to watch. It's funny, I think that there are a couple of periods in the 20th century where I would like to have lived, with the caveats of being younger, being healthy, and being filthy rich. Because let's face it, if you're going to have a fantasy time frame you're going to live in, you're going to want to live where, be able to live well, have a nice place, be able to go to parties, have nice cars, all that fun stuff. 60s London is definitely one of those ones that just, again, sounds like it would be fantastic in the right way. But I'm going to ask you in the chat room now, what do you think for GTA 6? Do you think GTA 6 should be another modern one? I'm guessing that, now that they've done San Andreas, and San Andreas is so well executed and stands out there, especially with GTA Online. Do you think they should go back to Florida? Do you think they should go to Liberty City, which is obviously New York-esque? Should they look at a new era and a new area? Should they go back to London? Should they take it to another major metropolitan city? I can't really imagine, especially given how, and this is from a team that started off in Scotland. I'm not sure that Grand Theft Auto Paris 1966 would ever really take off. I mean, it's got to be a time frame where there was a big movement and a cachet. And yeah, where would you like to go? I could go for 80s again. I could go for 70s. 70s would be good. And I know some people have tried that one. Interstate 76 was one that tried to cash in on that after Vice City. More of a driving game, not so much a open world sandboxy type thing. But yeah, I'd love to see them go back to the 80s and maybe take it to New York. Obviously, New York in the 80s was a very different place to Florida in the 80s. So if they took it to Liberty City, I mean, crime was rampant. Police corruption was rampant. I mean, if you look at any of the movies like the Scorsese ones from the time, that would be a very interesting time frame to execute a game. So let's have a look at the chat room. Let's see where you guys are thinking it should go. Yeah, see, Steve Morris agrees with me. I mean, this is us 80s kids. Grand Theft Auto, Port Talbot, 1980. That's one for my Welsh boys and girls. Yes, I did have a haircut. Look at that. I actually feel, it's funny. I think I feel a little bit better. I think I look a little bit better. I think I don't look quite as old. I mean, obviously, I still get the gray here and the gray on the sides, but not so much, down the main stretch, as it were. So, yeah, Vice City, boom, boom, boom. RP Genius, a little bit to one side. Tony Hawk, both influenced GTA and Tony Hawk influenced my taste in music. Obviously, Pro Skater. I think it was Tony Hawk 2, where they had Bring the Noise, Public Enemy, and Anthrax, which was such an awesome balls to the wall cover. That was always one that I loved to just play over and over while I was playing Tony Hawk, because it's just a great thrash metal version of Bring the Noise. Let's see. GTA London. Taking it outside of London, but where would you take it? This is the thing. I mean, without going into sort of like mafia territory, I mean, obviously GTA is a global franchise, but how many people, I think, from countries like, perhaps the US, and perhaps I'm not giving people enough credit here, would they go for GTA Madrid or GTA Barcelona, GTA Tokyo? Tokyo, that might be interesting, actually. I mean, Tokyo, the Yakuza, putting the Triad influence. Now, I know Triad is a Chinese gang and Yakuza is a Japanese gang. I'm not going to mix those two up. But I mean, we talked about Sleeping Dogs a couple of weeks ago and how much I love that game. And, that was a lot of fun. Didn't quite sell as well as it should have. So, could Tokyo be something? What about Beijing? What about Shanghai? Where would you take it? Where would you take it? 1960s with a DB5? Yes, of course. I mean, that would be fun. Sundancer, thank you for joining. It's okay. I know I'm running late too. So this is going to be, truncated. Frosty Can. They should take it back to the 80s and have 3 cities like it's rumored. Now then, are you talking about 3 cities in the same country? Like continent? Are you looking at maybe GTA, Vice City, Liberty City, and San Andreas? Or are you looking at 3 international cities? London, Vice City, Tokyo. That might be interesting too. Might be fun if they did just a 2020 version where nobody's on the streets at all, and the only people you find are anti-maskers, and you get bonus points for running them over. Not saying you should run over an anti-masker in real life. In a video game, a little bit different. I like that one. GTA spin-off in the 80s when you were a Beverly Hills cop. Axel Foley. Oh, great movies. They're rumored to be doing Beverly Hills Cop 4, and I really hope they don't. I mean, 3 was not good. First 2 were excellent. And this is going to be the fucking digress and tangent stream today. The beauty of the first 2 was that it was Eddie Murphy at his peak, and having watched the Coming to America sequel, I really would hate to see him damage the legacy. And I know some people really enjoyed it. I really, really didn't. I found it kind of cringeworthy and didn't have any of the charm of the first one. Let's see. GTA 6 needs to be a full 80s homage. Give me GTA Liverpool. Well, maybe we can call it GTA Liverpool, and you drive around with European Cup, and this was 6 European Cups on the back of your car. Obviously, you could have GTA Manchester and have 2 European Cups. Or leave GTA alone and go for a full Driver remake. Now, Driver's obviously a different kettle of fish. Driver's Atari, and God knows where that license has turned up. But let's stick with GTA. D. Night Walker, interesting point. Problem with London is that thematically GTA is about the American dream, so I don't see that happening. Well, that's the thing. I mean, you think about it. It is to a certain degree, it's about the American dream, but it's also about a bunch of fucking criminals making their own dreams happen. So it's interesting. Is GTA something that's forever going to be entrenched in America, in their alternate Earth 2 version of America, or is it something that they can take globally? Because unfortunately, avarice, capitalism, and crime are a few things that are universal and not really stuck and nailed down to one particular country. Let's see. Tootling down back to Miami. London 85 to 92 and remake Rocky Horror inside it. Sublevel 28, lay off the booze. I know it's late there, but that's just that. Yeah. As somebody who was in London in the late 80s, early 90s, it was a good time to be around. But yes, I don't know. Let's see. Alam Mizrahi, any other favorites from Tony Hawk? Do you end up seeing the bands live because you discovered them from Tony Hawk? Actually, not so much. No, I mean, I was actually a huge Public Enemy fan anyway, and I just love that particular song. I mean, I'm a big Public Enemy fan, but no, there was nobody from from the Tony Hawk games, but it was great. And again, this is what us old people will remember. If you grew up playing NES, Super NES, Sega Genesis, or going back even further, Commodore 64, Sinclair Spectrum, like I did, the only soundtracks you would have is the ones that you made yourself and played yourself while you were playing the games. Otherwise, it was very limited. I mean, I think my favorite soundtrack of a game for the 16-bit era was RoboCop v Terminator. Because it's a great accompaniment to the game. It's very sort of like lots of explosions, guns, boom, and the soundtrack's quite thrashy, and it's electronica, but it's like ragey electronica. Phonos, nice to catch you live. Big fan from GT times. Greetings from Mexico. Greetings from Pasadena. Thank you for joining. So, yeah, go back to your question, Alan. No, I didn't, not with Tony Hawk. But yeah, that was my point. When you, and again, off tangents, when the PlayStation came around and we started to have the music on the CD, I mean, we'd had some perhaps on PC, on CD-ROM. But the PlayStation 1 and the 3DO were the two that really sort of like brought in the music to a high level, because they were accessing the discs. And so it was a really great time to sort of like, having been a gamer for, somebody who played games for, a decade, 15 years, whatever, to now have this amazing quality audio. And I say amazing quality, I mean, you go back to it now and it's probably not the greatest versions technically, but it was just so cool. It was really cool. I think it's something people take for granted nowadays. I know I take it for granted nowadays, until I just thought about it until Alan brought up that that thing and sent me off on that particular tangent. So, yeah, that's actually something that was something that perhaps we take for granted, and I never really remembered until recently that, yeah, the music was always such a, when we started to get into this, the PlayStation generation, the music was just so good, so good. Let me see. Frost again. Liberty City, London, and Tokyo would be amazing. And I think, look, the other thing that the question, and I'll carry on with this in a second. How would this plug into GTA Online? Now, obviously, GTA Online's been going for a while. They're still working it. Obviously, whatever they do with GTA 6 is going to be, impact the GTA Online world. They're obviously going to have a better engine now than the one they used for GTA Online in the first place. I know they've been modding it and updating it, and I mean, like I said, it's still a barrel of monkeys of fun to actually kick in. But wouldn't it be great that if, with the launch of GTA 6, and say we've got those three cities, we've got Liberty City, London, and Tokyo. Although they might be thematically a little too similar, that you get these dropped into GTA Online, and then San Andreas gets a graphical overhaul and is brought kicking and screaming up to that level. I mean, that would really take. I mean, it would take a lot of fucking work, and it would take a lot of resources fiscally, but that would be cool, being able to travel to like 4 cities. And I mean, this is, like I said, this is one of the things that I think Fallout missed a trick when they made the switch to online. In that the space that they picked for Fallout 76 was not exactly fun, not exactly exciting, not exactly Fallout-y, especially when they'd had New Vegas, Washington, and Boston before that. And if those were available in Fallout 76 or Fallout Online, whatever you want to call it, whatever it would be called, that would be absolutely pretty amazing, being able to travel to those different cities and see those different environments. But again, shit ton of work, shit ton of resources, very expensive to make. But how cool would that be? That would be pretty damn awesome. Slade, no, let's not talk about Zack Snyder. If we don't get GTA London, can Sony please bring back the Getaway? Never played the Getaway. I remember it being advertised. Never played it. Love to do a GTA where you're also a cop and do bad things, and also ride along and stop bad guys and ticket and arrest them. Okay, so basically, I think that one that'll be a hot button topic. Yes, I did get a haircut, Tainted Darkblade. Steve Morris, Amiga mod music. See, Steve was from a well-off family, obviously. Anybody who could afford a fucking Amiga. Those were the expensive ones. Again, they had the Three Stooges game. The Cinemaware games in particular were always like, was it the Crusader? Was it Crusader or whatever? There was the sort of like the medieval knight one. Their stuff was so gorgeous and had great sound. All right, PS1 Wipeout. Yes, that was another one. Wipeout didn't have the Moby soundtrack, or somebody? Not Moby. Oh God, Chemical Brothers. Might have been the Chemical Brothers. I don't know. Donkey Kong Country. Yes. No. This is the great thing. I came in here with half an idea for a show today, and now we've spent almost half an hour talking about the great music of our video gaming youth. Let me see. Have the players use the airports and change cities? No need to have all 3 inside one map without any loading. Oh, absolutely. I think yes, they'd be. If you have these 3 cities, you'd have to travel to them. And I think that would be, switching server to server or however they'd work it. But it would be absolutely awesome. I mean, can the tech handle it? That's the big question. Jonas Larson, DuckTales Moon Level is the music genius. Okay. Let me see. Gran Turismo. Again, we're looking, with a lot of it, we're talking about PS1. I mean, this was the big change up. Points on the Amiga inclusion, but yeah, it's very interesting. I mean, you always see these videos on YouTube where kids react to music of the 80s, or kids react to treats of the 80s, or the gadgets from the 70s, and blah 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 blah. Be like, kids react to fucking PS1 games. That might be interesting, because they'd be like, what? There's no Fortnite? What? Raypad, no. Champions League has not been discussed yet. Last I saw, Chelsea were cruising. But it was, oh, there you go. Look at that. Chelsea lost 1-0. Bayern's out. Even though they went and won 1-0. They went to Paris and won. So Bayern is out. The Champions League holders are out. That's I mean, it was always going to be actually, Paul, we'll talk about the footy in a minute. Marcus reacts to Japanese RPGs. No, nobody wants that one. Sonic the Hedgehog. Again, that was some good music. The Sonic, it's funny. Sonic and Mario. I mean, once you say those games and the names of them, the music does pop into my head. And that's, so I'm not trying to do them a disservice. I'm talking in particular, probably licensed music. And the fact we had so much of that with the PS1 era. Have I ever worked with a Vancouver, British Columbia-based studio? I have been to Toronto. I've been to Montreal. I don't think I've ever been to Vancouver. No, I haven't. I've been to Montreal and Toronto. Toronto's up this way, isn't it? I think. Yeah, I don't think I've ever been. I mean, look, I may have been. My memory's not exactly what it was. But yes. Now then, let's see. It's not going to happen. Marcus is not going to be reacting to JRPGs. We tried that on the stream. Look, check out the stream list where I played Phantasy Star Online. I tried, and I don't want to be cruel. I don't want to be mean to stuff. I'm not that. It's funny. Yes, I can be a bastard, but I really don't want to, be the guy who always rags on what other people like. I try to be respectful, and I know that's not sexy. It's not funny. It's not stuff that people want to see. People want to see somebody controversial saying something controversial. I'd rather say that about dick stuff, that people are being dicks, than rag on somebody's work and something that is beloved to a large group of people, especially something like, Phantasy Star or the Final Fantasy games. I used to love Final Fantasy, and then on the Game Boy, on the Super NES, even on the PlayStation, and then I got tired of how they became more cinematic and less gameplay and more grindy. And that's just my opinion. But there's so many people who love them, and that's the beauty of games, that they can all float our different boats. Okay. Raypad, stop it and behave. No secrets Kickstarters. Thank you very much. Let's see. Phantasy Star Online 2 is not a JRPG. It seems like one to me. I don't think it's exactly a Western MMO. So stop it. Don't pick on Marcus Day. Am I going to do some more game streams? Maybe. Especially if like I said, and you probably missed this at the top of the show, I will not be doing 2 live streams a week. I'm going to put this one to pasture, the Tuesday. I'm just going to do the Friday one. Makes it easier for people to schedule and tune in as and when they want. And then I'm going to try and do the 5-minute uploads, no internet issues, boom, talk. But yes, I'm not adverse to streaming. I did it with, ironically, I did it with Phantasy Star, and I did it with Cyberpunk. And the Cyberpunk one in particular was so much fun because it was so broken, and it still is. And just being able to discover a bunch of glitches and play through with the audience was actually fun. But games like that are few and far between for me. Finding games that are really fun and that I can really invest myself in, especially newer games, as in like, oh, this has just come out. I'm not going to get, oh, somebody sent me a code, I'm going to play this now right in front of you, because, you'll see how crap I am. But 2, I like to get a familiarity for the game. I mean, the beauty of Cyberpunk and streaming that was, even though I was experiencing a bunch of new missions because I'd already played it through once and had gone one way, now I was playing a bunch of other stuff and pursuing storylines. I had a level of confidence about it, and I knew what was right, what was wrong, what was just plain ridiculous. But yeah, I'm not going to say no, but we'll see. We'll see. Let's see. You know what, RP Genius, Friday works, and if you're on the ale, you're on the ale. If you are part of somewhere that's reopening, good luck to you. Just stay safe, because we know that this shit is not going away yet. We know the cases are on the rise here in the States in so many sections of the US. And this is Uncle Marcus saying, stay alive and be careful. I am getting vax 2 on Thursday. Yay! And then about a month after that, I should feel more comfortable with regards to going out, eating outdoors at restaurants, etc. But this thing is not going to go away for a while. So everybody just be careful. Be your Uncle Marcus saying he has. Why not play some classics instead, such as our theme of the week? Yeah, that's a lot of work to that. I mean, you imagine that I put in an awful of research into stuff. And look, I jest a little, but I do usually on stuff I want to talk about and playing. Yeah, I mean, if trying to figure out what's what, getting hold of code, getting stuff set up is, it's no small feat. And I am in total awe of streamers who can tackle this religiously and really work hard and get through. And it's just when a game stops being fun for me, that's always not a good sign. And that was the problem. That's why I stepped away from games for the longest time. Games stopped being fun. Let's see. All right. So there you go. Jonas says, while I enjoyed Final Fantasy X, it was when they started, when you started dabbing off the franchise because how streamlined it felt. Okay. All right. So yes, let's finish up GTA because lots of different options. I think, obviously whatever we're hearing will be announced with it, will be taken with a pinch of salt. It's going to be a while before we get any GTA news. Maybe we'll get something this summer. I mean, it's been, 2 years since Red Dead. I know Red Dead Online came out last year then. And so maybe it's time. You've got to imagine that they've been working on this. And obviously, they're still working on things like GTA Online. So I would love to see a new GTA game. We know that GTA, the ports for the next gen consoles, or the current gens as they are now, they are coming still, I think. But yeah, it'll be fun to do something a little different. Rockstar, do something a little different, because obviously I know exactly what I'm talking about. Today's tea, oolong, Mandalorian oolong, from the Christmas thing my wife got me. Okay, Thomas P, 1201. Any excitement for the Mass Effect remaster? Oh, yes. All the excite. A veritable bucket of recyc. A veritable starship of it. I have refrained from downloading the Mass Effect versions that I've got access to on the EA Play thing. Because that's how excited I am. I'm looking forward to the tweaks that they've done with Mass Effect 1 in particular. They've updated the Mako, the vehicle. They got rid of a lot of the bugs, a lot of the irritating stuff that was in there that didn't seem to make much sense. And they've brought it more into line with, the gunplay's been enhanced. So it's been brought more into line with Mass Effect 2 and 3. And that to me is fantastic because, as I've said before, Mass Effect 2 is probably one of the best gaming experiences, again, I've had on one of my favorite BioWare games. So yes, I'm looking forward to that. That will be a day one get for me, unless I can nag a friend at EA to give me a code. On PC, of course. That one I'd fucking stream. See, that one I might just stream, start a new game from the beginning and stream for 80 hours. Oh, God knows how long it would take, because I put a lot of time into Mass Effect 2 and 3. Whoa, that might be an ongoing theme. Jesus. Twice a week for 2 hours. Maybe by the time I'm 60, we'll have finished it. On the BioWare tip, as it were, as the old young people used to say, I downloaded Dragon Age Inquisition, again, from the Xbox Games Pass on my PC and EA. And look, when I'm waving, I'm looking at a screen that you can't see. One, it's me, but there's also the EA desktop logo is visible. I downloaded Dragon Age Inquisition because look, I loved Origins. Dragon Age Origins. Dragon Age Dragon. I can't even say it at all now. Dragon Age Origins. Orange Dragonades. Sounds like a delicious drink. Inquisition. I loved Origins. Really, really fun. Inquisition to me was obviously such a big step. They tweaked things up. They made it way bigger, way grander, a lot more exploration. Sorry, my teeth just not working today. And look, so I've downloaded it. When I played it the first time on 360, I got really bored with it. It didn't have a lot going for it, in my opinion. It felt too spread out, too not very intuitive. And so I've downloaded this version now because, I mean, we're talking 10 years later, maybe more. And it's running on the PC. It's got all the expansion packs and everything. And I'm remembering the stuff I experienced the first time. I didn't finish the second one. I finished the first one. I finished Origins and loved it. And I got to say, I'm having some of the same issues, but they're not as, this time around, they're not as impactful on me with regards to wandering around, finding new areas. Oh, I've just wandered into an area where this rift and these monsters are going to kill me from the get-go. Oh, shit. I still have that problem. Which is not, it's not a bad gameplay design, because at the end of the day, it just says, you're not leveled up enough to be here. Fuck off somewhere else. But it's still unwieldy with regards to quest tracking, only one quest at a time. The mini-map gives you vague directions. Party management and the powers do not feel as much fun as they did in Dragon Age Origins. But for a game that's coming at me not for free, but for the, as part of my rental package, it is enjoyable, and I'm going to keep on playing. I'm going to get through more of the story. I think it's interesting, and we talked about a theme doing a lot of looking at games that are available on Games Pass, in particular, and seeing what I missed out on the first time, games I didn't play. I may have had on the old 3 or the PS4, and never really got through. They were being sent out to me at a time where I was getting a lot of games because I was doing game trailers, I was doing NBC, etc., etc. And so there's a lot of games. I mean, going to take me 80 hours to get through. Now, I'm already doing that with Mass Effect 2 or 3. Am I going to do that with this particular game too? And I didn't. I mean, and it really stopped me playing some, and getting into some good games, I think. And that's definitely one of the things that I'm doing now that I have a little more time. If there's a way to incorporate that into what I do with regards to my pre-recorded segments or streaming, who knows? That might be fun. No guarantee that it'll be entertaining for you guys, because, and again, the other thing I do find difficult is talking to a camera now. Piss. I got no problem. Put me in front of a camera, and I don't like having my picture taken, but put me in front of a video camera and ask me to talk shit. I will talk shit until the cows come home. Have me play a game where I've got to concentrate on something and try and be amusing or insightful. That's a fucking tricky skill that a lot of people have, and I'm in awe, and I just go, whoa. Because, yeah, if you watch some of the streams that I've done, it feels a little bit forced, to be honest with you. But I think there are some games out there, and that might be worth streaming, and that might be my niche, because I'm not going to be the guy who's getting new codes left, right, and center. Those days are long gone. I'm not going to be the guy who's buying new fucking games every week. Because again, if I'm buying a game and I'm making that investment, it's just as much for me as a gamer as it is for you to be able to watch me make a tit of myself. All right, back to the chat room. Let's see. Yep. So Jonas is excited for the Mass Effect remaster. Yeah, it's coming out next month. RPG wants, and I'm just going to call you RPG, not the RPG genius. You're RPG. Notorious RPG says he'd kill for an Origins remaster Dragon Age collection. Well, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, that would be a monster, no pun intended, of a remaster. But again, I think if this one does well, sky's the limit. Raypad, he's funny. Dirtiest Cloth, which is just one of the coolest Twitch names. Well done. I don't want to ask what the inspiration was, but yeah, I see. They say, I think it's the diversity of gameplay class-wise that is the point of the game in Inquisition. Yeah, I mean, I am playing with a elf mage. And because that's all, it's funny. The elf mage is always, or the mage is always one of my go-tos. I love the whole magic-y stuff, or a ranged character. I tend to stand back and like look at the battlefield and shoot from a distance, and send my tanks off to get fucking slaughtered. So yeah, as I've only played 3 hours of this version, so I'm going to give it another play, especially after we've finished here. Yeah, I'm sure you're right. I mean, and again, it's interesting. I do love having a party with me, but not necessarily switching characters in the party. If I am going to play as a character in RPG, I like to play as that one character, the one I create, the one I imbue my personality choices into, and my conversation choices, and my skill points, and then everybody else. It's funny, the auto level up is used a lot for party members in the BioWare games for me. Not because I don't give a shit, just because that's the way I like to play. I think having a computer, make the choices in the builds, in the build outs of the characters is always interesting, because if they are programmed correctly and the engine is on song and the character's design is good, they will automatically complement your character, because they will see there's a mage, so we need to have this, and this. I actually think more games should have AI fire teams or companions. Like I said, love what they did with the Old Republic, where they added the different sidekick characters. Mass Effect has done it well. It's BioWare. I think there should be maybe in Outriders. I think they should give you a fire team character. One of the things I really liked about Cyberpunk, one section of Cyberpunk, is that you get your character and you get your sidekick or your partner in crime, quite literally. And it's a shame they didn't carry that all the way through. I mean, it's always good to have that buddy system. And then if you want to say, all right, well, this is going to be games as a service, this is going to be always online, whatever, that can be filled by somebody else. A human player can drop in. But, if you're like me, you don't want to play with other people very often. So having an AI, well-programmed AI, is always a good thing. And I'd love to see more companies do that with their games. Raypad asks, is that Dragon Age online system that saved all your game choices still a thing? I have no idea, because it's years and years. I mean, I think I've actually a different fucking email address as well, so I had to create a brand new EA login, so all that stuff went by the by. Backstab multiplayers rule. See, that's why you do well in the games industry, Raypad. They're full of backstabbers. Not you personally. You're good people. RPG, speaking of BioWare games, did I ever play Jade Empire? So I'm the only... Yes, I played Jade Empire. I mean, look, for the longest time, whatever BioWare released, I bought. I mean, there was a glorious, shining time. We will call it pre-Anthem. We will call it pre-Mass Effect Andromeda. There was this shining time where everything that BioWare did was good. Was very good. And then there was a game like Jade Empire, which I still haven't fucking figured out is about or how to play to this day. That might be one I should try and find it and see if it's on the EA Play thing, because that one never really understood it. Paid for it. I think I paid for a collector's edition. I think I might actually have a Jade Empire toy somewhere packed away in my garage. But yeah, BioWare was just boom, boom, boom. Everything they did was really good. And then Jade Empire came out, and I was like, okay, this isn't like Mass Effect. This isn't like Dragon Age. This is a very different kind of, what is it? I don't know. I still don't. In fact, it has slipped off my radar. Let's actually have a look at the EA desktop. Let's see if it's up there, shall we? Come with me, children. Come with me now. Join me on this journey while I try and get, let's see. Oh, piss off. Let's see if it's on the Xbox app. You still there? I'm still there. Let me minimize the screen and move that over there so you can still see me, because I'm... All right. Xbox, all games, perks, EA Play. Let's see what on the game section. Game trials, play EA games. All right. So what have we got? What have we got here? Dragon Age Inquisition, Dragon Age 2, Dragon Age Origins. Dungeon Keeper is on here, by the way. Oh, Jade Empire Special Edition is in the house. Install. There you go. In fact, I'm not going to actually hit the full install one right now, because that would take probably from my stream, and that would be the self-fulfilling prophecy of, oh, internet, rah, and then, oh, I'm going to download a big fucking game while I'm on my stream. That would just be stupid. But Jade Empire Special Edition is on EA Play with Game Pass. I am going to install it. I'm going to explore it. And I'm going to come back to you on Friday and say, so this is what Jade Empire was. It only took me 13 years to figure it out, but here it is, because I'm an older person and I can understand things more. Who am I kidding? Jonas Larson, if there are any games worthy of remaking, it would be The Old Republic. Give me, God damn it. Yes. And look, this is now tangential. This has gone off at an angle. Still can't say that fucking word. The Old Republic, Knights of the Old Republic, Knights of the Old Republic 2, and the Old Republic. The first two games, remake those, update them, give more options, swishy, swishy, foo, foo, foo. EA can do it because EA still has the Star Wars license. Do it now while you still fucking can. Lots of money. The Old Republic, the MMO game that I have talked about many a time as one of the games that I started playing to get me back into games after the heart attack. Sorry, not the heart attack, after the zipper installation, is a game that needs a sequel. And I think given nowadays, as we move to more games as a service, it is something that we don't necessarily need to pay $14.99 a month for, but could be a Destiny-esque, and I'm using this very, very gingerly, type of Star Wars game with a heavy RPG element. And obviously remake, pull in a lot of the quests and stuff. I mean, we could have a Old Republic 2 that is more Destiny-ish, with lots of all the locations, the daily tasks and everything that you want to do without the $15 thing, with a super snazzy engine, looking absolutely gorgeous, some amazing writing. I'm sure they've got all the audio from the original game. Reuse that, because you reuse all the missions, reuse all the locations, jazz them up, put them on Xbox, PlayStation 5, and put them on PC, and that's a no-brainer. That's one, again, I invest in. I'm happy. Woof. It gives you the single player if you want to play single player, and it gives you the clans and everything else. Wouldn't that be great? EA, are you listening, Mr. EA, whoever's in charge nowadays? Wow, you should... EA and Activision, all these guys, they should just listen to this or watch this stream and support me on Patreon, because we're giving them so many ideas here. Let me see. All right, going back up. Yes. I miss BioWare when Ray and Greg were in charge. Absolutely. I mean, obviously that was a different BioWare. They've gone off. They sold to EA and made their money, and they've gone off to do their thing, and they're very happy. And we should all be so lucky. Let's see. What's my take? Gremlin117, first of all, how you doing? What's my take on Amazon's attempt/failures at gaming? So, Amazon, Google, Facebook. Those are the big three techs who are all trying to get into gaming. Google obviously has Stadia, grand experiment. Don't think that's going to go anywhere. Facebook, they predominantly, obviously they own Oculus, but they predominantly have the Facebook games room, and that's about it. Amazon have invested a lot of money into games. They had the New World, which I think is their MMO, that went into beta, came out of beta, went back into alpha. Don't know when that's coming out. Did get a playtest of that. Reminded me very much of Valheim. And look, here's the thing. If you are doing an MMO nowadays, make sure it's fucking sexy. And I'm not talking about, ooh, that's sexy. Make sure that the topic and the locale is appealing. It's all well and good having a game like Valheim, which is a $20 game in early access and will continue to grow. And it's, it's like, oh, you start from the beginning, you chop things down, you build a house, blah, blah, blah. But the beauty of a really good MMO, which is EverQuest, Asheron's Call, remember that one? I played the shit out of that game on the PC. But EverQuest 2, World of Warcraft, The Old Republic, is that they were sexy. And they were sexy in that they were not that realistic. Chopping down trees and farming plants is not super sexy. The Sims is not really sexy. The Sims is fun because you get to do stupid shit. And look, if you're anything like me, all you did was kill your Sims left, right, and center anyway. But if you're going to do an MMO, you're going to get somebody to pay either a subs fee, or you're going to get somebody to do something really, return daily and interact with people, because that's I'm the outlier on the MMO market. I am the one who will lone wolf it 99 times out of 100, unless I know who I'm playing with. World of Warcraft, huge exception to the rule, because I was playing with my friend Matt Ferrari every day, and we were playing, raiding. We had all our characters, and it was fun. But the Amazon MMO, not sexy. I want to play games for escapism. I don't want to play games for over and over repetition, for generic banality, for the things that we do on a daily basis. I don't want to play an MMO where I have to eat and drink to stop myself being hungry and thirsty or my character dying. That's why I fucking hate survival mode. That's one of the reasons I really don't enjoy Fallout 76. I want, if it's a post-apocalyptic game, which is always a fun one, that's always a fun thing to look at. In a rural place, there could be any post-apocalyptic, because it looks the same then as it would in the real world. I want New York, I want London, I want Boston, I want LA, I want San Francisco, Chicago, Tokyo, Beijing. I want to play those locations in a post-apocalyptic world with these vast skyscrapers, the urban jungle, if you will. And you put the countryside outside them, and you can go and explore that too, where it's more rural, and the effects of a post-apocalyptic world are not as well as felt and as noticeable, perhaps. Or there we go. We just had a little glitch. Spanner up. Look at that. Look at that. This is what happens when I have something running in the background. Oh dear. Exit. Exit. Let's see what's happening. Am I frozen? I'm frozen. There you go. I glitched. And now apparently I'm back. Closed a bunch of stuff out. So yes, post-apocalyptic. Make it somewhere that's aspirational. Somewhere that's recognizable. It's all well and good putting it off on a foreign planet. That's great, but let's have some. I Am Legend, Will Smith. A mediocre movie. Not the best Will Smith movie. But New York, post-apocalyptic, animals in the streets, grass growing. The Stand, both versions. Seeing Vegas, seeing New York and LA, and the cars in for New York, and it's like the one of the tunnels going out of New York City, full of cars, dead bodies, having to go through that in the dark. Those are gameplay experiences that are really interesting to me, are really something I'd love to experience, because they are recognizable but alien, in that they are not something one would ever hope to expect, although given the way we're going as a society, with our penchant for global warming, climate change, and pandemics, who the fuck knows what will happen in a couple of years' time. But that's the great thing. That's the cool thing. Fallout 4, and I found Fenway Park, or Fallout 3, and you see the Washington Monument. When you see these things that are icons and landmarks in real life, and there's this different look of them, that to me is incredibly fascinating, and that is incredibly exciting to drop my money if you're doing an MMO. The Amazon MMO, not sexy. The other Amazon game they did, the Grand Tour, which was based on the TV show with Jeremy Clarkson, James May, and Richard Hammond, the original Top Gear presenters, was interesting because it was designed, it was episodic, it was designed to hit with with an episode of the show, and it was almost like this multimedia, transmedia experience. Failed though because wasn't really that great. I mean, it wasn't a outstanding driving simulator or even an arcade driving game. And so I think the problem is, and this is where you have somewhere like a company like Amazon in particular, who, and if you look at Amazon, you look at people who work for Amazon tight. Amazon be tighter than the proverbial duck's backside, and that thing is watertight. It is rumored that if you put a lump of coal into the collective ass of Amazon, it's so tight back there that it will come out a diamond because it will have been compacted. And that's the thing. Amazon don't like spending money. And I think the stuff that they're betting small, because obviously they don't want to make huge losses and write shit off, but they're betting on stuff that is screwed from the get-go. If you are a company that's run by the richest man in the world, and you are going to take a crack at games. And I have the Amazon Games thingy here on my machine. I've used it once or twice just to see what's what. Bunch of crap on it. Nothing really exciting whatsoever. But if you are owned by the richest man in the world and you want to break into games, you got to go proverbial unzip, slap it out and say, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to get it right. We're not going to announce anything for a while. But when we do, it's going to be this game. It's going to be this thing that's going to be so sexy. We're going to have a fucking tech demo that's absolutely beautiful and fantastic. And people are going to dribble. If Amazon were even smarter, they'd say, oh, we're going to go and buy a company with an IP. And that's how we're going to leverage ourselves into it. So, and this is going back to, I think, one of the things you could do in like World of Warcraft or whatever, where you could order a pizza and a pizza would be delivered. Amazon, and this is all hypothetical, this is like just random what the fuckifery. What happens if Amazon bought CD Projekt Red? And so CD Projekt Red, now part of the Amazon empire, and you have an Amazon account, you get some, cool swag for the game. But what happens if you want to buy something you can order stuff in the game? or you can watch a movie with your friends from on your Amazon Prime account in the game, because it'd be more multiplayer. That's interesting. That's cool. So so basically, great question. I do think that Amazon has suffered from probably being neutered by their own inability to spend money. Unless it's on things like, oh, let's go and build a rocket to the fucking moon. Because that's obviously such a great thing to do when it's, you know, you're not paying your people minimum wage. And I think the stuff that they've been picking, the topics they've been picking, have not been well thought through. It's almost like, oh, right, what do we own? So we'll do this, we'll do the grand tour. Doesn't really work. So yeah, I think what Amazon have done has been really poor. I don't think they've done anything of note. I think they will probably write off the experience sooner rather than later, because making games is expensive, and you've also got to make sure you have a staff who are going to give you something different to what everybody else is, because you are coming in as Amazon and you're going to have all this, all these people watching you and all this expectation and wanting you to fail because you're fucking Amazon. And then you're also competing with EA, Activision, Bethesda, Microsoft, Sony, because you're stepping into that arena. Nintendo is another one. So yeah, I think what they've done is mediocre at best, dull and ill-informed at worst. Okay. All right. Out of Order Show, thank you so much for joining. Sorry I missed you leaving. And again, sorry for the stream glitch, but I see we are back online and kicking. Quentin Cox, thank you. In and out. Good to see you. But again, thank you. Let's see. Where are we? Phonos, with regards to your question, with regards to CDPR and Cyberpunk, I have talked about it. If you go back through the archives on, let's see, where you're talking on Twitch. If you go back, you will see streams. You will, where I've actually streamed Cyberpunk. You will see thoughts and opinions pre the streams as well. It's in a final section, and this is going for a different ending, and I can't do it because the game is bugged. So, all right. Let's see. Raypad, James Corden. James Corden. I think Brits were glad to see the end of him. I mean, obviously, Gavin and Stacey, one of my favorite shows. But yeah, my respect and love for James Corden went out the window when he was seen cozying up to Sean Spicer, the Trump press secretary. Yeah, no, don't do that. All right, so Angel Lux, The Division. Thank you, Angel Lux. Great point. Division 2. Those are the games that are actually, Division 1, not as much fun as Division 2, but again, the beauty of them is you're in that world, so you get it, you see where I'm coming from. New York at Christmas during a pandemic, so much atmosphere. That is it. Well done, Angel Lux. I can't believe I forgot about The Division. That is fantastic example of what I want to see out of a game, especially an MMO game or a post-apocalyptic game. That's why I won't play Fallout 70. One of the reasons I won't play Fallout 76. That's why I think Valheim is just like, meh. Give me something like that. Have me in one of these environments where, all right, now I've got to, if I'm going to find guns, or if I'm going to base myself in this town or in this city, let me get into, all right, so I'm in I don't have much skills, and this is me spitballing and giving game ideas away. But how cool would it be for a post-apocalyptic MMO or, Destiny-style game, if you will, that basically sets you up and say in New York, virus, whatever, suddenly come in, you're one of the few survivors. You have to develop your skills for survival as you go, a la Valheim or some of these other things. And so perhaps the only place you can sort of like have as your base is a grotty little, fire trap tenement apartment. But as you explore more and get supplies and get guns and tools, you can do it up, or you can develop tools that allow you to move into a richer area where perhaps there are gangs. You can clean them out. You can perhaps quarantine certain areas. That would be cool. That'd be so much fun. And again, you can do it on a you know, you can do it with a fire team. You can do it with friends, or you can do it alone with an AI companion. Give me a fucking dog. Love the dogs. But that to me would be so interesting. You have the seasons through, you know, you have the weather changing, you have all these different things that we, you know, we've seen in the TV shows, and we've seen, you know, we know we do in real life. And you know, that to me would be so, yeah, that'd be really, I think that's probably my must have. I mean, somewhere like a GTA 5 engine or GTA 6 engine, Liberty City, again, post-apocalyptic. You recommend, you know, you get the Statue of Liberty or whatever. And they're ongoing, and you can start, you know, you can start doing things like, you know, side businesses, selling stuff, whether it be weapons or, you know, little skill sets that you have. That's cool. That's cool. Angel Lux, that was, have a gold star. Great example. You got it. You got exactly where I was going. I love how Raypad and RP Genius are just having this bromance in the chat room every week. I mean, you guys are just so cute. I mean, you should swap Facebook numbers and just be friends on Facebook. Have a chat. Twitter. Let's see. No, I have stopped. I've shut down. By the way, stage select. If anything's freezing, it's not from this end right now. It might be on Twitch, because at the end of the day, well, actually, you're on YouTube. I've shut everything down except Restream. Drucker Patron. Yes, this really is Marcus Beer. Look, it's me. I'm alive. Contrary to popular belief. And there's Slade Wilson says there's a new Division game with zombies. Well, I mean, that would be a logical progression, given that, you know, we've had this, you know, these pandemics in the game. And it's funny. I mean, people were saying that who knew that the Division 1 and 2 would end up being a real life simulator to prep us for COVID. But again, these things are great. That's my ideal game. That's where I could lose myself and immerse myself, especially if you've got New York and then you've got the outskirts, you've got Jersey, you've got you've got all 5 boroughs, you've got you've got Vermont. You can get in a car, you can customize a car to work if you know, generator, boom, or even just hoof it, and you can see these different aspects of the country, and you continue to build them out. And you can do it with London, like I say, you could do it with Paris, and see these bits of the country. It'd be amazing. Rebuilding a world. Okay. How about the day before? I have seen the that actually came up in my Steam feed the day before. And that's RP Genius asking if I've seen this the day before, which is Division meets Zombies MMO. That has come up in my on my suggested list on Steam, and it's something I flagged to explore a little bit later. So, in fact, all right, I've got that up because I'm going to look at that a little bit later. Twitter friend, Ray, Twitter friends. I've been friends for weeks apparently. See, I brought everything. I bring people together. So. Okay, yes, they will reappear on this machine after the stream, and then I'll talk about it on Friday, and I will tell you if I can finally fucking understand it after all these times. The Raypad with a question. Marcus, do you read? I'm guessing he means read gaming sites regularly anymore. Many of them irritate me. I do have a look around from time to time, and there are a couple of people who do some very, very good work. But yes, I do see that why the gaming sites would irritate you, because especially from when we were, you know, when we were in the games industry and doing this, rampant fanism and pandering is the order of the day in a lot of sites, I found. Where they have, and I mean, this is what happened in journalism school, and went to work for PC Gamer, OXM, Nintendo Magazine, and then GameSpot, IGN, One Up, etc., etc. People who the games they covered were wide and varied, and you'd have your area of expertise, but you would also look at other games, and there were opinion pieces, but it was more news driven, more previews, features, etc., etc. And now it does seem that the games industry, media in general, has gone the BuzzFeed route, where you don't get half as much of the insightful journalism. Like I said, there are a couple of some really good stuff. But a lot of it is BuzzFeed lists and tenuous stuff, because they have to keep on repopulating the main feed. And once a new story's up, what have you done for me lately? And it does irk me, and I don't follow many of them. I will sort of like peek in. I've got them on my Apple News thing, video games, and I have a look through and see what's what. But a lot of it's just banal. And I mean, when it's a slow news day, you think, I think it's tough doing 2 live streams a week on a slow news week. Imagine being on staff somewhere at a gaming website and still have to fucking put out 20 fucking stories a day. It's incredibly hard. And it just goes to show the state way, we're still having to the internet, the information superhighway, as it was called back in the day, social media, to binge everything. We want our information now, and we want this, and we want to move on to the next thing. And this is the way we are. We're in our phones, walking around. We're not digesting stuff as we used to. So everything's fast food nowadays. And sometimes it's nice to have a sumptuous 12-course tasting menu. Well, thank you, Drucker Patron. It's very kind of you to say I haven't lost any of my sexiness. A lot of people will disagree. But yes, you're turning up on New Haircut Day. I did get my haircut. If you look at the feeds on YouTube and on Twitch, since I started in January, and this is what, I told getting a haircut, and the wife said to me, Michael J. Fox, that's fantastic. No, the old professor dude, Doc Brown. My hair was up and everything. I looked in the mirror, and I did look like Doc Brown from Back to the Future. Not the young Doc Brown either, the old one. And it was like, okay, let's call our friends who own a hair salon, and they got me in on Saturday, and I was the only one actually in the entire place. It was just me and my friend Albert, and he cut my hair, and I had my mask on, and now I feel a little bit good. It's taken about 30 years off, so now I only look 50. Oh, D Night Walker. And I'm going to read this so that obviously not everybody can see the stream, because I obviously don't have the chat overlay on. In fact, I'm going to put that chat overlay right here. Let's see. Hang on. Oh, there you go. Look at that. Oh, where is it? D Night Walker. There you go. Personally, I find it kind of annoying how most games Nintendo fanboys that will constantly give him a free pass. Thank you so much. Been saying this for fucking 15 years. This is really, I mean, I don't know if you're saying that because you thought of it, or if you just think that it's something that will get a reaction out of me. Well, if it did, it got a reaction out of me. This is exactly my problem with the games industry, and not just the new people coming through who got given the Wii, the kid, or whatever. So many people give Nintendo a fucking pass. It's ridiculous. And then you drop into that, anything that's Star Wars, anything that's Fortnite, anything that's Call of Duty. I mean, so many fucking passes are given out here. Yes, you're right. Have 2 thumbs up. Been doing this on Restream for probably about 6 days. Just figured out that I can click screen. Woohoo! I learned something today. You guys have been amazing. Whoa. Oh no, lagging again. Damn it. I don't know why I am lagging. I am so sorry. This is why I'm getting away from the this is why I'm getting away from the stream. This is why I'm going to get away from the live stream. 1 live stream a week moving forward on Fridays. But yeah, sorry about the lag. Sorry about the issues. I mean, shit. You know what? Let's have a little bit of fun here. Let's see what's going on while I drop the speed test, because I'm on a wireless connection. I am on a wireless connection because the internet Wi-Fi doodly comes in the room back there, and I'm in the middle room. But I am literally, the router is 2 feet away behind this wall, and this is obviously American construction, LA. Everything's made of fucking plasterboard and wood, so hollow. So the signal shouldn't have too much of a problem. So I am. See, I'm getting a down. Oh, there you go. My upload is. I'm getting 39.65 Mbps upload. Ping is 11. So it's not that bad. I mean, it just spazzes. It really does. It really does. So again, I apologize, but this is why I'm going to switch to 1 live stream a week moving forward. But I've really enjoyed this one today. I'm not drilling a hole in my fucking house. I've got enough fucking holes, thank you very much, that I've covered up with pictures and everything. I am not drilling any holes in this house, not harming the innate resale value for when I decide that I am done with California and I want to cash in. Because real estate in California, the price only goes up. The more annoyed I get, the smoother the stream is. Maybe that's what it is. Couldn't it be great if my annoyance could actually be used as a power source for my internet and for my power? I mean, I'd be happy to get annoyed then, and I'd never pay electric bill ever again. Drucker. Well, so hang on. Was that? Hang on. Where was it? Oh, sorry, Gremlin. And look at this. I'm showing. Any excitement for From Software's next title? No. Next question. And again, being blasé about it, I am not a fan of From Software's titles because, to me, it's gaming masochism. The games may have great stories, great characters, look amazing, but if I want to, be beaten like that over and over and over, I'm not going to pay somebody $60 for the privilege of doing it. And this comes back to the whole argument that we're having. I saw somebody post, a friend of mine posted on Facebook, a stream from the UK where somebody said, every game should have an easy mode. And then obviously it devolved into, well, games are art and you shouldn't have to, dictate to people about easy mode and this, that, and the other. And my response is, I can understand if you want to be a company that makes hard games and you appeal to your smaller fan base, that's fine. If you don't want the bigger sales that come with that lower barrier of entry, again, buzzword in this show. In fact, the next show I should do is called Barrier of Fucking Entry, where I look at games and say, this is how you make the barrier of entry lower. Yeah, so From Software, I played Demon Souls, I played Dark Souls, I got bored very, very quickly. I actually have an Xbox 360, I think it's Demon Souls. Still in the case, collector's edition with the big character and everything, and it's all tucked away in storage. At some point, it will be worth some money, and so they will contribute to my retirement fund. And like I said, if that's what they want to do, great. The level of elitism from the fans of those particular, those particular types of games is cringeworthy. Oh, you're not a real gamer if you can't play
Demon Souls, so you can't play it on Hard Nightmare Super Elite version. You're not a real gamer, you're just filthy casual.
I'm like, fuck off and go and find a penis that works. Games, the beauty of games is that they're like books, they're like music. Not everybody will like the same thing. Games have this level of interactivity that movies and books and it doesn't have. And if you want to get your amazing story, amazing graphics, amazing game out to somebody else, to as many people, make some money, but also gift that you share that thing that you made with a lot of people, then you know the barrier of entry. You need to have an easy mode. It's not going to hurt his achievement after they've grinded through 86 hours of Dark Souls on Psycho Ninja Nightmare mode. It's like, well done, you've done it, you've got skills, good for you. But it excludes people, and exclusion is not necessarily a good thing. There are people who need to be excluded, but not on that basis. The people we need to exclude, well, you know my politics. Anyway. Oh, look at that one. There you go. Stage select. All the YouTubers in LA seem to have internet issues all the time. I don't know how you stand it. I don't know how I stand it either. YouTube, internet, cell phone. Yeah, it sucks. I mean, that's the thing. It's difficult to have cable or, Fios or, the really high-end internet connection, fiber, if you will, because all that stuff goes underground. And we happen to be on one of the most active tectonic plate shifting parts of the world in the San Andreas Fault, which means shit moves. I mean, ideal world, power cables would be underground and telephone cables would be underground and everything would be good, but no, they're all up in the air like it's 1950s. We're all walking around ding, 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 ding. So yeah, that's why. So yes, fucking sucks. And of course, you build in things like lack of deregulation in California, did by the likes of Ronald fucking Reagan in the 70s, and then taken nation in the 80s. It's not really behooving of the utility companies to actually do what they're fucking paid to do. All right, let's see. Barry, oh, I'm sorry, Ray. That's taken now. I've said it so many times. You're gonna have to pay me 10 cents every time you record a song. Let's see. Okay, let's get down to the bottom. Games are like a box of chocolates. Well, British chocolates maybe, but not American chocolates. American chocolates suck. That is one thing I'm going to do at some point. I'm just going to rate chocolates. I'm going to rate British treats, compare them to American treats, and I'm going to show you how I got this fucking scar down my chest from eating all this crap. All right. Good question. Don't know. I have trust in Rocksteady. I'm sure whatever they do is going to be fucking amazing. I love that they've not gone the route of a Justice League game, because that's what everybody thought. And it'll be interesting to see how it goes. All right. Yes. Flakes for life, Raypad. Starlink for internet. Okay. I'm going to type that up. Thank you, Steve. For an hour and a half. Not bad for a show with no planning. The last Tuesday show has been fun and it's in the books. I am going to hop on to the Discord very shortly. I've got to step away. So thank you as always for tuning in. If you feel you got a couple of bucks here or there, toss my way on the Patreon. Take a look at patreon.com/IamBeer and let's see exactly what you see. He's sorry, the wife just stuck her head in the door. She came back. He's in the bedroom bed. Sorry, bear with me. Domestic bliss. Isn't it wonderful? My wife went to the shop. She's amazing. She went to get us groceries and Spike was asleep and then needed to go to the bathroom. So, yes, I have 4 tiers. The top tier, forget it. The second from top tier is fun if you want a mug. The lowest tier, $3 a month, less than the cost of a decent Starbucks. So is there any such thing as a decent Starbucks? Great. If not, I'm still going to be here, still doing my stuff. I appreciate you tuning in and giving me your support that way anyway. Thank you so much. You guys are awesome, and you girls are awesome too. Stay safe. Stay out of the COVID. We will live through this. Wear a mask. Yep. I'll catch up with you soon. If you are a Patreon subscriber, tier 1, 2, or 3, join me on the Discord in a few minutes for the after show, because that's one of the perks you get if you're a Patreon subscriber. You join me on the Discord channel, and we have a little chat. So stay safe. Thank you very much. I'll see you all on Friday, where we will talk about Jade Empire. Maybe I should get some edibles.